Welcome to another episode of the Edmonds Moms Room podcast. I'm Dr. Allison Felt, an owner of Body Motion Physical Therapy, and I am so excited today to have Jen, the owner of the cutest boutique in town, Crow, with us today. So, Jen, welcome to the show, and thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. My pleasure.
So, before I even start questioning you about this, if you guys haven't been to the store, you have to go. It is it's almost, I can't explain it to put words to it, and I hope you can put words to it. But when I first went to Crow, it's just it's a spa for your retail therapy. It's like retail therapy. It is so good. And it is the cutest little place. It defines Edmonds to me. When I think about this cute little beach town we live in that feels so good and light every time you come to town, your store represents and fits so beautifully. And so I'm honored that you're even on the show with us today. So
wow,
if you haven't
that's so kind. Thank you.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your business.
Well, I started making jewelry actually a million years ago when I first moved to Seattle, and kind of turned that into an actual full-time business. I was a full-time jewelry maker for, I think 12 years. And then got married and had triplets.
Wow.
So between birth and about first grade was, purely triplet time. But then I got back into it sort of when the kids were in school full time. And I love making jewelry and selling to cute little shops like mine. And it was always it made me so happy to be a part of, a cute little shop. And so that was kind of my focus when I wanted to expand besides my jewelry, was featuring local artists or small makers. We don't have anything that's mass produced. It's all really, made by one or two people. I love to keep that kind of really small and support artists as much as I can, obviously. So that was how it all started. And I started with a pop-up shop in Kenmore, where I live, 3 years ago. And that was super fun. It wasn't permanent. So it was, fun to set up for a weekend, and then I have to tear it down and do it all over again. So that was, a good way to kind of, baby steps into this. And I just decided that I loved it as much as I had hoped I would. And then the next year I had a little pop-up in Bothell at Country Village. And before that got bulldozed. And that was also really fun. It was a little bit of a bigger space, and it felt more like an actual store. I didn't have to tear it down. It was holiday time. So anyway, then, I just happened to, fall into this location, which is ideal. It's a really cute little freestanding building. Before me was a salon for about 24 years, I think. So people were kind of surprised to see something different when I opened up in November. So I'm, just thrilled to be part of this amazingly supportive community. I mean, I've never, your dream is to be in a cute little quaint downtown, but to have such support from other store owners and restaurants, and it's absolutely been amazing.
Wonderful. Oh, cool to hear. Thank you for sharing your story. So I didn't even realize that do you make some of the jewelry still?
I do. Yeah.
Oh.
We're closed on Mondays,
okay.
So I can be in my studio making jewelry. So yeah, I wanted to keep that going, because it's just part of, always be part of who I am and what I love doing it still. So that was important for me to not lose that kind of part of myself.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah.
Oh, well, I love it. I think your jewelry is, I don't know which one's yours, but I've definitely bought some pieces there, and it's such good gifting, it's so good for gifts, because it's not you don't feel like you're giving a cheap, off, whatever. It feels so custom and unique and, good quality. I love it. So, that's really cool.
Keep the price points, reasonable. I mean, I want everything to feel special, but not out of your league or price range. I mean, we all love a good gift, and even if it's for ourselves, but you know, to spend $100 on a pair of earrings, it's just not really my lifestyle. So I wanted to keep that kind of attainable.
Cool. Oh, that's great to hear. So you opened your business in November. I guess that would be 2019. So
Yeah.
you came into the community at a really challenging time, kind of like you were just getting going really right before coronavirus and shut down. How have you, like, how's that been for you? How have you fluxed? What's been good for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we opened the Thursday after or before Thanksgiving. Anyway, it was end of November, so it's right around that time. So, you know, ramping up to the shop small Saturday, you know, Black Friday and all that. But it was so I knew it was an excellent time to kind of jump in and be ready for the holidays. I didn't really know how much product I should have, which became apparent that I didn't have enough when I first opened the doors, but I quickly kind of, you know, rallied the troops and got a ton more gifts in for the season. Had a great season, and you know, just really kind of took a breath in January and thought, okay, what you know, what's next for spring and just moving forward. And then clearly that was next was pandemic. So I don't know. I never thought that I would ever close. I mean, I had just opened and there was no way I was gonna let this, you know, take me down. But just dealing with being, you know, a parent and being home with the family, and my husband was home working, and, you know, everybody was obviously home, and trying to think positively and keep it rolling mentally and all that stuff. Luckily, the downtown group, Localvore, which is a group that started, I think 7 years ago, maybe. They do, it's downtown shops, like Walnut Coffee is involved too, so not just retail, but they put together, usually it's like in-person shopping deals and kind of special weekends, and First Dibs was one of their shopping events. It's every, usually November. Anyway, so they kind of pivoted through that and put together sort of gift kits, we called it. And we had an online, still do, online website that you can shop, you know, 10 or maybe 15 local stores. At the time we were hand delivering because we thought, well, we have nothing else to do, so we'll just run around town, which was super amazing to see the support and just to go around town and see the fun neighborhoods. And so that kept us going too. But so I did have, you know, and I ramped up my website. I got things online, which I didn't really have before, that you can, you know, shop online. It's not my focus. It kind of makes me go crazy working on that kind of stuff. But I know it's a necessary pivot at that point. Was like, all right, let's sell some stuff online. So,
yeah. Well,
but it was, you know, keeping the kind of energy up was probably one of the harder parts.
Yeah.
And just waiting for that green light was, you know, by the end of middle of May, we're all thinking, you know, maybe this month. And then it was another whole month, I think, and then we got that green light. And it's like, all right, doors open. Cool. Had all of our plexiglass and our sneeze guards and our sanitizer, and
Oh, it's so nice to like go into the store. I'm not like a fan of shopping, but I love going into like cute little boutiques and just being able to like pick something up that I wasn't expecting to get, you know?
Yeah.
And
that's my main, I love, anywhere I go, I'm like, is there a cute store anywhere nearby? I want to walk down a main street and find a cute little shop. That's,
Exactly. Yeah. It's so lovely. I'm so glad you guys like were able to flux during this time, because I really do value your store. And I'm sure I'm not the only mom that's like, just give me some reprieve and I want to decompress and treat myself to something. And so that's where I feel like your store just fits so beautifully. And walking in there, and I've taken my kids to your store before too. So it's definitely kid friendly, at least.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I make sure there's enough room for strollers, and because there's nothing worse than like not being able to go in. I mean, that's, you know, the whole point is come on in, but so
Yeah.
Lots of wide aisles.
Cool. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about some products. So you have really amazing candles there. I definitely am addicted to a couple. So tell me tell me about your selection.
Yeah. I think I think I have probably the most of is jewelry, which,
Okay.
like I said, it's all really reasonably priced. I would say 75% made locally. I'm on a side note, I'm always looking for new and interesting lines. I make it really a big point to not have lines that other shops have. Before I opened, I kind of reached out to Kimberly Rogue and some other places and just double checked that we weren't carrying the same lines, because, when you're half a block down, you don't want to see the same kind of cute earrings you saw and then you see it again. And, so that's a major priority for me, is making sure that it's unique to Crow. Candles, I'm a candle fiend. So that was one of my main, I wanted to have lots of different choices. And, a couple of our candle lines do like a give back. One candle line gives back to like French bulldog rescue and support. And I mean, it's just, I'm all for a good story and cute packaging, and obviously it smells good. So, but I think right now, especially, self-care and doing whatever you need to feel good, whether it's a bubble bath with some awesome small batch lotion, or lighting a candle every day, or putting up some new art. I mean, I do a lot of prints, some local artists, and I have original art too that I've been lucky enough to have and get to look at every day. But it's a good seller. I mean, people, when they're home all day, they want to make sure their home is looking good and feeling good. So anything to I have really cute pillows and blankets. I mean, it's really, I kind of feel like it's whatever makes you feel good is, what I want to have.
Totally. And a good scarf. I mean, you always have those like cute scarves that I just want to wrap up in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what is also like so special that you've just nailed to a T is there's not like clutter. I think when you carry different products and it's just so like spaced out and presented beautifully, you want it all, and you don't feel like you have to like search, really hard for the right thing. So, it's a beautiful. Tell me, I see this wall behind you. I love your wall. And so is your home just as lovely and organized and like pristine as your business?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I think this is actually what I love about my shop too, is I get to do displays and feeling of it that is what I love the most. I mean, my house is not quite this eclectic, I would say. It's a little more, I don't know, traditional, but I do have little vignettes around the house that are sort of, reminiscent of this, lots of old books. And this actually I did during quarantine when we were shut. I had a huge painting behind me that was, when I first opened, I had it for forever. And the artist took it back. It's kind of on loan. And I thought, what am I going to do with this space? And came up with this. And that was my like quarantine, keep me going project.
Love it. Well, wonderful. Is there anything coming up for Crow that you want to share, or any events that we should know about?
Yeah, we're doing, well, actually it was supposed to be starting Friday. Well, it did start Friday, then the smoke kind of took care of that. Was the big citywide brouhaha sidewalk sale that'll be continuing on, starting again on Friday. So kind of a part two. So that'll be, I think there's 20 or so stores that are participating. That should be really fun. Awesome. There's some, the Scarecrow contest. I am doing my first entry. I don't know what yet. I need to get on that.
Okay, for people that don't know, tell us Scarecrow contest is, and I'm so glad they're doing that this year with everything being canceled. That's so fun.
Well, it's funny because last year at in October was when I was starting to work on the building, and I'd drive down every day to Edmonds and check on construction and stuff. And I saw the scarecrows and the displays. I'm like, what is all this? I had no idea. Turns out it's a citywide contest. You can be a resident, you can be a business, you can be, there's all sorts of categories. And there's a category for first timers. That'll be me this year. And you just put up a display. It doesn't have to be an actual scarecrow, but and then it's judged, I believe, October 16th, maybe, kind of that second week. And I believe there's some giveaways. I'm not quite sure about that, but cool. Yeah, so it might have crows in it. I'm just, I think that goes without saying. So
absolutely,
that'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. What was the behind the name?
Oh, well, I live in Kenmore, like I said, and every night about 10,000 crows fly between UW-Bothell and Seattle, back and forth twice a day. And they fly kind of right over our house. And when we first moved there, we looked up and thought, is there an earthquake? Why are there like mass birds flying? Turns out it was every night. It was just, we called it Crow O'Clock at our house, and kind of became like a mascot of our area for Kenmore and Bothell. And so when I first had my pop-up, that's sort of where it came from for in Kenmore. But people do love crows. I hear all the crow stories, and good and bad.
Yeah.
And I have a few customers that are disappointed it's not just crow items, but I do have a few that they're kind of fun to have. But yeah, I wanted a name that was a little mysterious, a little like, ooh, what is that? And you have to come in and check it out. I didn't want to sort of how it started.
Oh, I love that. I have to. I'm going to ask you one other question. So I can't believe it, but the New Year's like 4 months away. Do you guys have anything like new inventory coming in for Christmas?
Yeah, I've got kind of my wish list of items. I think it's just going to be, I'm not going to go like a ton of holiday decor. I would say I'm going to focus more on gifts, like just really special, unique, as much local as I can find, kind of staying with my pattern of what I have now, but just bring in a whole bunch of new and tons of ornaments. I sold a ton of ornaments last year that were handcrafted and just, that you can't find anywhere else, that are unique. So yeah, we'll see what I find.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, thank you for sharing. And I hope people hear this and head on over to your store, because it really is. Yeah. It's like the best treat you could give yourself here.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot. Yeah, it's been really fun. I've never met nicer customers, honestly.
Yeah. Great. Well, I'm happy to hear, and I'm glad you're still in Edmonds.
Still here, you bet.
Well, thanks for joining us on the podcast, and we'll have your information and probably your store location and your website in the show notes.
Perfect.
So, yeah. Well, thank you, Jen. This was awesome.
Thanks so much.
The Edmonds Moms Room podcast is brought to you by Body Motion Physical Therapy. We help women through pregnancy and beyond so they can live active, confident, and healthy lives.